Hello, I'm Clarion from Clarion Call Fiber Arts, and welcome to part 2 of my guide to reclaiming sweaters. In this video, I'll show you how to quickly and easily take apart your sweater by finding what I like to call the magic thread. You'll need a seam ripper for this, and the sweater that you've selected using my guide from part 1. So you've chosen your sweater. Go ahead and turn the sweater inside out and start looking for the seams. I like to start with the side seams. Inspect both sides of the seam, and on one of the sides you should see a line of what looks like little V's. These are the stitches holding the sweater together. On this sweater, they're easy to see because the yarn used to seam the pieces together is of a contrasting color. Once you locate this line of little V's, look to see which direction the V is pointing. Look closely. In this example, you can just make out that the bottom of the V's are pointing at the bottom of your screen, and the top part of the V's are opening to the top of your screen. Since it's really hard to see those little details, I've drawn you this happy little diagram. Now the magic thread only works in one direction, so if you start pulling on the end of the seam by the bottom point of the V, it won't work. Instead, go to the end of the seam by the open top part of the V, and it will. In other words, always look for the open top part of the V and start there. Now let's try it on a real seam. So here we are at the correct end of the seam. You can see that we're starting at the top open part of the V. See those cute little V's there? Now, take your seam ripper and insert it under both arms of the V at the very end of the seam. Be careful not to catch any other part of the sweater as you risk damaging the yarn you're trying to save. Now rip this one V open and then insert your seam ripper the same way under both arms of the V directly below the one you just ripped. Gently lift this V off the ripped V. You should now have one live loop below the ripped V. Next, insert your seam ripper again under both arms of the V directly below the loop. Gently lift this V off the loop one more time. You should have one loop, two loops, and a ripped V. Now insert your seam ripper through the middle loop and lift. This is the magic thread. Now all you have to do is pull like butter. Look how easily and cleanly we have liberated these two pieces of the sweater. You can open pretty much every seam of your sweater this way, and it is so incredibly satisfying, I'm going to show it to you twice. Ooh, that's nice. Sometimes the magic thread gets caught and doesn't want to pull any further. If this happens to you, don't worry. Try taking hold of both sides of the seam allowance and giving them a gentle tug open. Like all of us, sometimes the magic thread just needs a little encouragement. If the magic thread ever gets lost or breaks, you can always find it again by repeating the steps we reviewed earlier. And that's the magic thread! If at any time while you're taking apart your sweater you feel in over your head, feel free to visit my Etsy shop where I've done all the work for you. There are many skeins of beautifully colored reclaimed sweater yarn up for grabs there, including the one we took apart today. I'll see you in part 3 where we use the magic thread method to take apart a pullover sweater. If you liked this video, hit the like button, subscribe to my YouTube channel, or find me on Instagram for more fiber how-tos and experiments. Happy crafting!